Dude, a little kind of funny, interesting thing about perspective.
Yeah.
I forget if it was like an internet meme or what exactly it was. And I love the message behind it because it means everything is about your perspective, how you look at the world.
Mm-hmm.
It said, I've reached the pinnacle of my life because I get picked up by a $300,000 vehicle every day to take me to work. And then it had a picture of a city bus.
Yep.
And it was pretty funny. That's hilarious. Obviously, I don't think anyone's aspiring to the pinnacle of their life is to get picked up by a city bus. But the point of the whole thing was it's all about perspective, how you see things. If you're like, hey, I get picked up by a $300,000 vehicle every day to go to work, it's a way of kind of making things seem a little bit nicer, glass half full type deal. I thought it had a nice little message behind it, even if it was just a little humorous anecdote.
It's all about how you spin it.
It is. So anyway, let's get into episode 7 of the Joe and Zack podcast. This is a fun episode coming at you, folks. And for those of you that may not know, I love nature. I love animals. I love the zoo. I love reading and learning about animals. Always did since I was a little kid. Big creatures, Shark Week, all that stuff just fascinates me. I'm always sharing animal memes with a few different people on the social medias. And so what we're doing today, it was a new kind of theme born out of my fascination and love for animals. One you're definitely going to want to stick around for. It is the top 10 most vicious creatures on planet Earth. Oh, yeah, Zachy.
Oh, yeah. And maybe for next episode, we do Planet Jupiter.
I like it. Why not? Now, before we get into it, though, I did want to mention one thing that was kind of fun. It's a throwback to, I think, our second episode, the AI episode. And I was listening to this cool podcast, and it was talking about the future of AI. And I thought this was a really interesting perspective on AI. So I wanted to just bring it up, let people sit with it to think about it for a little bit. So it was this super influential guy. He was talking all about the future of AI, and he's on the forefront of building AI in Silicon Valley. And without getting into all the details, if you want to know the actual podcast, it was an incredible podcast. Just message us on social, I'll let you know. I don't want to get into all that. But his idea was he was breaking down the top 30 possibilities for AI. And this was just one of them. And I thought it was plausible, and it was a very interesting take I had never thought about. The idea is, what if on the back end, an AI company finds out that if they spend, we'll break it down to easy terms, if they spend $1, they can increase their AI's potential by tenfold. And what if when they figure that out, they take that tenfold AI and instead of releasing it and letting people test with it and learn from it incrementally, what if they take that AI and they invest that dollar again to make that smarter AI, again, increase itself tenfold and use AI essentially to continue to increase the power of AI over time? So all they're doing is building a stronger AI with every dollar that's going to then train and build a stronger AI with every dollar. And then they're using AI just exponentially to increase AI power, and they're not even releasing anything. So say over the course of the next 5 years, and this could happen, a company could realize that this might be the way forward. All they're doing is spending money because they found out that if they spend this money and they don't worry about releasing things or marketing dollars, if they just spend the money on having AI increase its own AI, in search of creating that general artificial intelligence, the intelligence AI that builds on itself, learns on its own, continues to progress. If they just spend those dollars over the course of 5 years, all of a sudden they come up with a super crazy, insane general artificial intelligence AI that we didn't even know that they were working on in the back end. And then they release it, and it's just incredible, powerful being that no one's ever even fathomed that just gets released into the ethos.
Yeah, it's called the T-1000.
Yeah, and there is the Terminator Doomsday scenarios. But I thought that was a very interesting way to look at it, that they in the back end over the course of 5 years could just be really just having their AI build better AI and just exponentially building better and better and better AI. And that's all they're focusing on is AI building the next better AI. And after 5 years, they come up with this super intelligent AI that we didn't even know they were working on. And all of a sudden it launches, and it's just this world-changing company that we didn't even know was essentially doing it. It's kind of a crazy way to look at it. That actually could kind of happen. There could be a company doing that we don't even know.
Well, that is pretty fascinating. And Joe, real quick, as you know, I have my friend Arnold here. He's hanging out for the recording of this episode. And
I'm here right now. Get to the chopper.
So I think if they did the AI like that, you got to be careful because you never know. It could really hurt you one day. Watch my movie, The Terminator.
The governor's coming at you.
I'm going to governate your country and I'm going to bring you the artificial intelligence.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's get in to the top 10 most vicious animals on the planet, baby. Now, folks, I came up with this list. I did a lot of research. Zach is here to have fun analyzing it with me here, and we're going to talk about everything. We're going to throw in anecdotes, all that fun stuff. But we're going to have some fun because Zach doesn't know what's coming. So we're going to have some fun with it. All right. Now, Zach, what do you think? Should we start 10 down? So do 10 maybe least vicious and then go down to the bottom to the number 1 most vicious? Or do you just want to start 1 through 10? What are you thinking?
Oh, absolutely not. If we're going with the 10 most vicious animals on our planet.
Creatures. 10 most vicious creatures.
Oh, I have one of them. It might be called an ex-girlfriend. Ha ha.
Oh, we'll save that for the after dark.
Yes, after dark with my amazing sense of humor. You definitely got to. You can't start with the most vicious and then work your way back. You have to lead up to something major. So you have to start with, I think, 10 down to 1. I think that's the way.
Okay. Okay. Let's do it. And then once we get to 1, I have some honorable mentions, if you will. Should I start with the honorable mentions or should I save those for the end?
Honorable mentions come between 2 and 1.
Oh, between 2 and 1. Okay, I like that.
Yes,
I like that.
Because it's like before we get to our number 1 most vicious whatever, here's the honorable mentions that had to be left out, but we must give them a mention. So yeah, between 2 and 1.
Okay. Okay, cool. I like it. And then, Zach, before we get into it, do you want to see if you can guess any in the top 10 just for fun?
Okay, top 10 most vicious creatures.
I won't tell you if you're right or not, but then once we get to it, it'll be like, okay.
Okay.
All right, hold on 1 second.
All right.
Hold on 1 second.
I'm hearing it.
Here's my first guess.
My phone
Summer by Taylor Swift.
is,
Been a fan
I don't know what's going on.
It's coming alive with that AI you were talking about, so you better watch out. They're onto you.
Dude, my phone literally just turned on and started talking. That was
I'm telling you, they're watching you, man. You better run.
It was talking about Taylor Swift. I don't know what that means. We're talking about vicious creatures, and it started talking about Taylor Swift.
Uh-oh.
I don't know
better
what
watch
that
what
means.
you say. Just stop promoting this AI before it terminates you, man.
All right, perfect. So top 10 most vicious creatures as basically judged by me, but I did a lot of research. So let's just say there was a lot of other actual educational sources that I consulted when I was making this list.
So do you want me to guess?
Yeah, let's hear.
Well, obviously I'm going to go in terms of the jungle. I'm going to say maybe silverback gorilla.
Okay.
They've been known to be pretty vicious. I'll also say killer whale. I think I might be wrong on that though. Obviously, a lion in the safari.
Okay.
Other vicious creatures. Vicious could be anything. It could be also like deadly venom. So I'd probably say a rattlesnake, a black widow spider, very venomous, poisonous.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol is a vicious creature. So that's probably not on the list.
Touche.
Touche.
That's very cerebral.
It's very deep cuts. We do deep cuts here on the Joe and Zack podcast.
Yep.
Other vicious.
By the way, the amount that I'm just sweating sitting in my closet right now, I feel like I'm on my own African safari.
Well, there it is.
Just dripping sweat. In my closet.
Yeah, he's in the closet again, folks.
Any other final guesses before we get into it?
I don't know. Let's not belay. Let's get into it. Let's see what the top 10 vicious creatures are.
All right, here we go. We're going to jump right on into it. Number 10 is gorilla. Ding, ding, ding. Zack and Nader guessed one.
I win money now. Yeah. But what kind of gorilla?
So here's the thing. I didn't delineate because it wasn't needed because you'll understand. Obviously, gorillas, they kind of have that gentle appearance. They're primates, Homo sapiens. Maybe we evolved from them at some point. But just remember, they can be fiercely protective of their territory and their young. And so the reason why they're number 10 and the reason why I'm not delineating is because they're herbivores, right? They're not out there preying on humans. And really, the only known attacks by gorillas is when they were thinking that they were being threatened by humans, or they were protecting their young, or they were put in a cage and so they were lashing out, right? There's been incidences of gorillas attacking zookeepers and tourists. I did look up these things, but it was always when they're doing something dumb. They're sticking their hand in a cage and messing with it. The gorilla's not going to just sit there and be played with. It's a primate. It's a huge animal, and they're not smart enough to know that something might not be threatening them per se. Although there have been instances of them learning sign language, which is amazing. So anyway, I put them as 10 because people are, one, very scared of them at times because they're huge and scary and they can growl. And also that they're just vicious. They're massive. They can just smash things and absolutely mutilate a human. But at the end of the day, they're mostly gentle, docile creatures, and they're not out to try and get humans. They're certainly not eating humans, that kind of thing.
That's true. And I will add, because I recently saw one of these movies. If anyone's seen the new Planet of the Apes trilogy, I think it's 4 movies now. Actually, I think it was War of the Planet of the Apes that just came out. Fantastic movie. But those guys are really, really vicious. So in the future, folks, they do learn how to talk and they become very territorial. And you don't want to get on their bad side because they're very dangerous.
True. So here we go. Number 9, Zach, we've got the polar bear.
Oh, yes, the polar bear. That's right.
I got to be
polar
honest,
bears.
dude. I was shocked you didn't say bear at all. No grizzly bear. No bears you didn't mention.
The bears.
Bears.
The bears. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't normally sit down and think, what are some of the most vicious creatures I've ever thought about before?
Well, a couple of factoids about them. Largest carnivore in the world, they say. On land, obviously. There's carnivores in the ocean like sharks, but largest carnivore on land. It weighs up to 1,500 pounds and they stand over 10 feet tall.
Damn.
I mean, imagine that incredibly strong, aggressive creature just coming at you. They're actually the only bear that's considered a true predator of humans. So they've actually been known. In fact, there was a case in 2013 where a polar bear actually dragged a researcher out of his tent in the middle of the night in the Canadian Arctic and just killed him and ate him. So,
Wow.
Yeah, the only bear that's an actual predator of humans is the polar bear. The other ones have all been known to just protect their young or protect their area, but polar bears have actually hunted a human. And one of the other crazy things I learned about them is they can swim over 60 miles in search of food. 60 miles they can swim. I mean, not only is that a testament to their endurance, but imagine how hungry you'd have to be to swim 60 miles just to get a bite of food.
And you know what? I would be super aggressive too if I had to live in the Arctic. Okay. I hate cold weather. Do you remember the late 90s or the early, I think it was late 90s, early 2000s, the Coca-Cola did the polar bear commercials where the polar bear was drinking Coke?
Yes. Iconic.
So if you're ever being attacked by a polar bear, just pull out a can of Coca-Cola and that will calm him down. This is expert advice. This is expert advice that you can rely on from me. I'm an expert. Thank you.
A lot of people don't know that. In fact, after that news article came out in 2013 about the guy in the Canadian Arctic, they said the one thing he forgot to bring, and it was on his packing list, was the Coca-Cola.
Wow. So you see, folks, believe everything you read on the internet. It's true.
And hear in a podcast.
Yes. Believe everything you hear right now in this episode.
Yep. But let's just think about it for one moment. Can you imagine laying in your tent in the freezing cold Arctic? You're already miserable that you even have to be there. And then all of a sudden, a 1,500-pound just white beast that stands 10 feet tall just rips open your tent and drags you out into the sub-zero temperatures and just starts eating you alive. I mean, geez.
Well, it's absolutely crazy. But you know what? There's this famous video on the internet. I forget the Bear Grylls, I want to say his name is.
Oh, he was like, Bear Grylls.
Bear Grylls, and he went out and is he the guy who died from a bear?
No, I don't think he died. I think he's still alive.
There was some person who did like a nature animal show and a survival based type of show. And there's this famous encounter. There's like video of it, but the only thing that's ever been released on the internet was the audio of it. And the camera was dropped and it fell on the floor. And whoever the host of the show was, he's out there doing a survival thing. And he has this encounter with a grizzly bear. and it ends his life. And there's audio of the grizzly bear just destroying his face, and you can hear the guy screaming in pain. It's really kind of fucked up. But it's like this
Jeez.
famous audio file because the guy was out there in the woods doing a show. Oh, he was trying to like, look, you can get this close to the bear, and he got too close to the bear.
Well,
And he
let
had
me
done
ask you something. Let me ask you something. Was it anything serious?
It was pretty serious. We will have to have
sorry.
the
Am I
family.
not supposed to laugh about that?
You do whatever you want. It's a free country. It's a free podcast.
It was a sick joke. You're supposed to laugh, but you didn't.
Oh well,
You
I was
didn't
holding
really,
it in. I was laughing on my face because you couldn't see it because we're audio only right now.
Yeah. You forgot,
but it's a real thing.
Not a
There's
sign language podcast.
Not a sign language. Nope. If you Google "guy dies from bear" audio, you'll probably find it pretty quick.
If you
but
want to
that's what
have
it reminds me of.
nightmares, just follow Zack.
Yeah. My whole life has been a nightmare recently. So sure, I agree with that. Let's move on to the next vicious creature.
Wow, it just got dark. So speaking of dark things and creatures, let's move on to the next one. The Komodo dragon coming in at number 8. Now, yes, if
Really?
you don't know what a Komodo dragon is, it's a very large lizard. And why this comes in at number 8, and this could be debatable, but here's the thing, Zach. What you don't know about Komodo dragons is not only do they have strong jaws and they can tear apart flesh, and they can be 10 feet long and weigh up to 300 pounds, but their bites actually have venom in them that can cause paralysis. Bet you didn't know that one. And in
I did not know
2007,
about the venom,
in 2007, a Komodo dragon actually killed an 8-year-old boy in Indonesia and ate him whole, just highlighting how massive and dangerous these reptiles can be.
Hold on. You're telling me this Komodo dragon ate a person whole?
Ate an 8-year-old boy.
Oh, an
whole.
8-year-old boy. So it was like a snack. Okay.
Yeah,
But still,
but they can also rip apart other humans and stuff. And here's the
Right.
thing. They can eat up to 80% of their body weight in a single meal. I mean, talk about heavy eater. You think you eat heavy after a whole day of fasting? Think about this. A Komodo dragon could be 300 pounds, and it can eat 80% of its weight in one meal. In that one meal a day, doing quick math, 80% of 300, that's like, what, 240? That means that Komodo dragon can eat 240 pounds of meat in one meal.
So you're saying that Komodo dragons do OMAD?
Yeah. Well, no, but maybe they don't. Maybe they do 3 240-pound meals a day. I don't know. I didn't get into the research that far, but how insane is that?
We need to have one on the podcast. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's crazy. So yeah, number 8, vicious, venomous, huge, can eat an insane amount. I was like, yeah, that's pretty vicious. And if you've ever seen them, they're pretty creepy and scary looking. But yeah, if you think about that in a human context, I weigh like 180, 85 pounds, depending. Imagine if I sat down and ate even 100 pounds of food. I mean, how much does a big steak weigh? Max 1 pound?
Yeah. Well, now you're got.
That'd be like me sitting, dude. That'd be like me sitting and eating 100 steaks in one meal.
This makes me think of these foodie videos. These people who do TikToks and they do food challenges and they sit down with giant plates of food and they have to eat it within 40 minutes and they stuff it down. It's absolutely insane. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy to eat that much food.
But even those guys, they're eating like 2 pounds of food, 2.5 pounds, maybe 3 pounds, right? Like we're talking 100 pounds of food in a sitting.
Yeah, so definitely they've got some eating problems for sure, these Komodo dragons.
Yeah. So number 7 on the list, and hey, there's been some movies about these things in general. It's the Asian giant hornet. Now that one specifically, I'll tell you why, but think about bees, right? Everyone's afraid of bees. Everyone's afraid of killer bees. There's been movies about bees. But the Asian giant hornet, which is specifically in Asian territories, but there's been a few cases, isolated sightings, that they have made it to North America in the last few years, specifically Washington State and British Columbia, Canada.
Those fuckers are going to multiply. I'm telling you.
They might.
Now, they're big and they're deadly, right? They're bigger than, are they like bigger than a wasp?
Yeah, they're huge. Get this, Zach. They can dissolve human tissue and, from a single bite, cause anaphylaxis.
Fun.
Yeah, not fun. So yes, the Asian giant hornet has venom that can dissolve human tissue, dude. Now that is the thing in nightmares, and it can cause anaphylactic shock easy.
Well, that doesn't sound fun.
No. Not only are you getting attacked by a hornet that can dissolve your flesh, but they're known to attack in swarms. So you're talking hundreds and hundreds of them maybe attacking you at once potentially and dissolving your flesh.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that.
So I think you can understand why I put that one on the top 10 and number 7.
Right.
Number 6, you ready for this one? Let's see how well you know me, Zach. It's my favorite animal.
Oh, I know. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe's favorite animal is the hippopotamus.
Yes, the hippo. I love hippos, guys. Don't get me wrong, they are vicious, but they're so darn cute and big, and I love seeing them in the zoo, and they have the big nostrils, and I don't know. I love hippos, always have. Don't take that the wrong way, though, all right? Boom, chick.
Hey, after dark. We're not talking about that on this podcast, okay? After dark.
So the thing a lot of people don't know about hippos is obviously they seem kind of docile. You see them in the zoo, they're just flopping around. They look kind of cute. But this is the crazy thing. Out of all the things on this top 10 list, they are responsible for more deaths per year than anything on this top 10 list. They kill up to 3,000 humans per year, dude. 3,000 per year in Africa alone. Now, of course, the number's a little debatable here and there, but even over 1,000 is a lot.
So how are these people getting killed by these hippos? Are
So
they like swimming in waters where they don't know there's a hippo nearby?
So hippos, a lot of people don't know this, are extremely territorial. So people, and yet it's in Africa, people don't know necessarily that they're by them. There's African tribes and things as well. I didn't research too heavily, but the main thing is that the hippos are super territorial and they will just outright attack to the death if they find a human in a place where they think it's their territory. And what you might not realize is a hippo can run 18 miles per hour. I'm pretty sure that that's as fast as Usain Bolt runs, and they can do it for a long period of time. And remember, these hippos are weighing 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 pounds. They're absolutely gigantic. So if one even comes close to you, you're done. You're just done. Those huge jaws and those teeth.
Those big chompers.
Dude, in 2014, I found an article in the Zambezi River. A hippo actually attacked a boat full of tourists. They knew hippos were there. They were actually boating around to see hippos and whatnot, but they didn't know it was under the water because remember, they're pretty good swimmers too, and they can hold their breath for a long period of time. It attacked the tourist boat, flipped the boat over, and killed 2 people.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so don't mess with hippos. Don't sleep on them either. If you look at this on YouTube, I think you've seen them too, Zach. You can see videos of these hippos in water literally chasing boats and trying to attack motorboats.
That's crazy.
It's insane, dude. They're crazy. And actually, I love watching the videos of African safari videos, and you'll see hippos attacking crocodiles and alligators and whatever else and just mutilating them. Not because they're eating them, because hippos don't really eat meat, but because they're just territorial. They don't want anything in their vicinity. They're like, get out of my way.
Yeah, get out of my space, bitch.
Exactly. I mean, I guess when you, I guess
they won't give you
that,
a warning. They'll just try to eat you.
Oh no warning. Yeah, they'll just chomp your ass.
Yeah.
I guess if you're that big, you want your space. You want your space because you take up a lot of space.
Right.
All right, we're at number 5, Zach. Any new guesses as we continue here?
I only have a guess for number 1, but we'll get to number 1 when we get there.
All
but
right.
Well, maybe 5 is tiger, lion.
Number 5 is the great white shark, actually, Zach.
Oh, yeah, Sharky.
The great white shark. Now, sharks in general are scary to people, so I put them on the list, put them up kind of high because we're talking about vicious creatures. Obviously, sharks are vicious. All they want to do is eat. They can't even stop moving their whole lives. They just continue to move. If they don't keep moving, they actually die because they have to have the water going through the gills. They actually sleep while moving. A lot of people don't know that about sharks.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
That's sad that a shark can't stop moving. That's sad.
Yep. Now, there's plenty of sharks in the ocean, right? And there's been lots of shark attacks, although the big misnomer is that the truth is you're more likely to have a plane crash on your house and kill you than you are to get bitten by a shark in your lifetime, just statistically. So it's not that common of a thing, but Great white sharks specifically are responsible for the most documented shark attacks. Now, the reason why I don't have them higher up on the list is, even though they're super vicious, is they don't seek out hunting humans, right? The only time they pretty much ever attack a human is because they think it's a seal and they're trying to get a meal. And then usually it's one bite and then they let go of the human because they know it doesn't taste like a seal. So I didn't put them too high because, again, they're not trying to really hunt humans. It's just they're trying to find food and they sometimes attack. But let's keep in mind that these things can grow up to 20 feet long. 20 feet. And to put that in perspective, I don't know why I know this, but like an Escalade is only like 18 feet long. So think about how big an Escalade is. A shark can be bigger than that. And the largest one I ever found was caught in Mexico. I looked this up, Guadalupe Island, which I'm not even sure where that is. But in 2013, they found a shark, a great white shark. They caught it, actually, brought it up on board, 20 feet long, and it weighed an estimated 5,000 pounds, over 2 tons, this shark.
That's a big shark.
That's a huge shark.
It's pretty big.
Well, guess how fast they can swim?
I don't know, 100 miles an hour?
No, 100 miles, dude. You haven't spent a lot of time on water in your life, have you, Zach?
No, I'm a city boy.
Yeah. Yeah. So our super fast motorboat on like a lake is usually around 60 miles an hour. And that's really fast. A jet ski, 70 miles an hour, super fast. So no, sharks.
I have been on a jet ski.
Okay. So yeah, sharks can't go that fast, but sharks can go up to 35 miles per hour. If you think about a car driving outside past your house, if it's going 35, it's moving past your house pretty damn quick. And some of these sharks are bigger than a car. So just imagine something bigger than a car swimming past you in the water at faster than 35. I mean, that's extremely fast. Now, that's short bursts. They can't stay going that long for a long time, but you can see these videos online of them attacking seals and jumping, flying into the air. And the last thing that is nightmare fuel for you is, well, 2 things. One, they've existed for over 400 million years. So sharks have been around longer than dinosaurs. So if anything's resilient, it's sharks. But then also, they can detect a single drop of blood in 25 gallons of water from over a quarter of a mile away. That's how good their scent of blood is.
Well, if you're ever in the water and there's a shark coming, don't bleed, get out of there, and don't try and pet it, and don't try and take a selfie with the shark. It's not recommended.
Yeah, right? If you are bleeding, you're probably already dead.
Yeah, if you already are bleeding, it's because the shark has bitten your leg off.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So it's too late.
Actually, I found this crazy story, dude. The longest ever shark attack was 20 minutes long, and the guy survived it.
Damn.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Think about how long 5 minutes could be, right? 20 minutes long, you're getting attacked by a shark. I didn't get to read it too fully, so I'm not sure how big it was.
I mean, I guess if you're experienced in the water and you know what you're doing and you have some general experience and maybe you've had a shark attack before, maybe like you're a scuba dive instructor or something and you know kind of what to do. And if a shark, because you've got all kinds of deep sea divers and they've got cages. Sometimes they have to go in a cage when they go underwater so that a shark can't bite through the cage. So maybe some people are experienced enough to know if I just kind of keep spinning in the water, if I kind of just try and like
punch it in the nose and stuff like that.
Yeah, try to hit it or tap it. Or maybe you're like, if I keep the shark distracted enough and I'm not super afraid where I'm freezing up and I just kind of keep moving and twisting in the water and I sort of delay the shark long enough, the shark will go away. Maybe that's kind of, but I would have to research that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do in-person research on that one, though.
No, I wouldn't recommend
it. Dude, all right. So number 4, we're into the top 4 now here. Number 4 is actually something called the black mamba.
It's a snake, right?
Yes, it's a snake.
Right.
So again, another something you can find in Africa. Africa, I tell you, dude, it's a scary place over there.
They got a lot of bad ones, a lot of bad animals.
One of the deadliest snakes in the world. The crazy thing about this one, when I read about it, is I think I had heard about it, but I didn't really know too much about it. A single one of these snakes has enough neurotoxin in its body at any one given time to kill up to 10 people. If you get bit by one of these and it goes untreated, there's been a 100% mortality rate. No one's ever survived without anti-venom from getting bit by one of these.
Damn.
Yeah. And they're super fast too. They can go up to 12 miles per hour. Think about a snake slithering up to 12 miles per hour. That's insane. And
Yeah.
they say that they can deliver a fatal blow bite in just 2 seconds. Done. You're gone.
So is this one of those situations where sucking out the poison could work, or you need a literal like anti venom injection?
I don't know what kind of freaky stuff you're getting at here, Zach, but save that for the
Right.
late
Sorry.
night
After dark.
after
After
dark,
dark.
okay?
It's such a classic scene in movies. Are you going to suck out the poison?
No,
You
I
know?
know, I know. I think that's a common misconception. You can't actually do that. Plus, as potent as this venom has been known to be, I don't think you're gonna wanna suck that into your own body. Obviously, yeah, you're supposed to suck it out and spit it out, but I don't know. I don't think it's something you wanna risk. These things are fast. They're super aggressive. They've actually been known to chase down and attack humans that come into their territory. So by the time you're close enough to know that it's there, you're probably screwed because the thing can go 12 miles per hour and attack you. So just be
Yeah.
careful. Africa's no joke. And coming up at number 3 on our list, you guessed it, it is from Africa again. It is the king of the jungle, the mighty lion.
The mighty lion roar.
Exactly. Now, the lion is the reason why it's so high on the list, even though it's not necessarily the scariest or the most vicious thing right when you first see it. It doesn't kill the most things. Like hippos are way more. When I read it, the African lion, the king of the jungle, is only responsible for about 20 to 30 human deaths per year in Africa. But the thing is, the reason why lions are so scary is because unlike sharks, where they usually think they're trying to fight a seal, so they'll bite you and they'll leave, a lion attacks in a pride. So if a lion attacks you, you're probably not just getting attacked by one. You pretty much have no chance of survival if you get attacked by a lion because they hunt in packs, they're in a pride, and you're pretty much going to be done. But I think one of the reasons why not more humans are killed by them every year is because they're not very silent. They have those big roars, right? And when I was reading it, this is a kind of a crazy stat. Lions' roar can be heard up to 5 miles away.
That's good. It gives you some time to kind of get the fuck out of there.
Exactly. 5 miles away, you can hear this roar. So I think that's anecdotally, I kind of extrapolating. I think that's one of the reasons why not that many humans get killed by them is because that they kind of know when they're nearby because they can hear them. So people tend not to put themselves in harm's way. But this is a fun little story, Zach. You'll like this one. One, did you know that lions are not actually the largest cat species on Earth?
Nope, did not know that.
Guess who's the largest?
Well, the only other thing I can think of would be maybe a leopard.
No, the Siberian tiger.
Oh, so see me. Oh, I guess yeah. Lions and tigers are different. Yes, I don't want to be discriminatory against that species. Okay, so the Siberian tiger. Now, is that anything to do with Arctic temperatures?
What do you mean?
Is it an Arctic animal, the Siberian tiger?
Oh, well, I don't know too much about them, but in
You know,
general,
because I'm thinking of polar bear.
um, I think there are some tigers that live in cold climates. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not an expert on tigers, but tigers in general, not just the Siberian, can all get bigger than lions. They just tend to be a larger animal, but they're not as scary or vicious because they're solitary creatures. So they're usually alone or hunting alone. Whereas lions, they're in a pride. So in a fight, probably a lion would always beat a tiger because the lion's never going to be alone. But actually, you may not know this. In San Francisco, they had a tiger that escaped the zoo in 2007. I read this, and it actually killed a visitor and injured 2 others before police got there and shot and killed it. It's pretty crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, I'd never heard that. But this is a fun story about lions. So in the late 1800s, there were 2 male lions that went off on their own, not even as a pride, just 2 males. And they were called the Savo man-eaters because they killed over 100 construction workers in Kenya over just a 9-month period.
Different times back then, I guess.
But if you ask me, after like the first 10 people die working on this one thing by getting killed by a lion, wouldn't you just kind of stop going to work? Like,
Yeah.
how did 90 more get killed after the first 10? You know, it's like,
They probably didn't have much of a choice, honestly, economically and where they were.
you're taking this too literal here, Zach. I'm trying to have some fun with you.
No, I'm trying to analyze the situation. I'm trying to wonder because that's crazy, but that's because back then there was a lot less infrastructure in place.
I bet
And
back then, I mean, who knows? They could have been slaves, they could have been whatever, but that is pretty crazy that just 2 lions killed over 100 construction workers over a 9-month period. They're just attacking these people,
yeah,
getting pulled from their jobs.
yeah, imagine you have to go to work and it's probably a shitty job and it's probably not safe to begin with. And now you also have to try and not get eaten by a tiger when you go to work.
The lion, yeah.
A lion. There I go
Exactly.
discriminating again.
All right, dude. Number 2, we're gonna go
We're
back
getting
to the
close.
ocean. We're gonna go back to the ocean. So I'm sure you probably haven't encountered one of these before. This is called the box jellyfish. Now,
I remember, yeah, I've known certain jellyfish can be extremely fatal. I've known this.
extremely fatal. So
Yeah.
I knew there was jellyfish out there that were scary and fatal, but I did not know to this extent. So I hadn't actually personally heard of the box jellyfish. So I learned on this one. So I did a bunch of research. It's kind of fun. So listen to some of this. Their venom is capable of killing a human within minutes because their tentacles can carry a venom that's so potent that it literally just causes heart failure as soon as you get stung by them. And it can also cause paralysis. So the idea is you get stung in the water, it might paralyze you and then you just drown, but then also your heart might just stop.
And where do these box jellyfish live?
So great question. Great question. They're mostly in parts of Australia, but in
Right.
2019, a man actually died off the coast of Florida by being stung by a box jellyfish. So what they say is just pay attention to signs. Usually all the beaches and authorities in coastal climates know when the jellyfish season is, and you're not really at a huge risk. Although in parts of Australia, there is casualties every year that do
Yeah, you
take
touched
place.
on, we ended up touching on Africa a lot, but Australia is known for some crazy wildlife.
Oh yeah.
Some really crazy stuff.
Well, I'll tell you, this one is one of the scariest.
Yeah.
This box jellyfish has 24 eyes, and some of them can actually see color, which I think just makes them even scarier. They're the largest of the jellyfish species. They have 60 tentacles that hang off their body, and each one of them can grow up to 10 feet long.
Damn.
So 60 10-foot long tentacles that can just kill you. If you think about it, that's like the size of a kayak. So this thing just coasting around in the ocean, if you're nearby it, you're kind of screwed. It's easy to get hit by it. And it has around 5,000 stinging cells that it uses to protect itself from attacking prey. So if you just get touched by one, you're probably getting hundreds of stings just by one little tentacle touch because it has 5,000 of these cells. So yeah, it's scary. And swimmers, especially in Australia, are warned about them every year because they do take lives every year in Australia. So box jellyfish, it's a vicious creature and it's scary and it'll take lives. So we're almost at number 1 here. I know a lot of people are like, wait, I thought bear was number 1. I thought shark was number 1. No, we're going to get to it. And I didn't know this either until I started really doing the research. And across the board, everywhere I looked, everyone kept saying this is number 1. So we'll get to it. I got to do a couple of honorable mentions first, though. All right. So we touched on it. The Bengal tiger, honorable mention. It was close to the top 10. They're bigger than lions. They're vicious. They're cats. They can jump. They're strong. They're fast. Tasmanian devil,
Oh,
close
yeah.
to the top 10. And actually, what they say about the Tasmanian devil, which is interesting, if you may not know, people, it's a marsupial, but they say that relative to body size, the Tasmanian devil has the strongest bite in the world relative to body size. So they're just.
But they're also kind of small, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Relative to their body size, they have a really strong bite, but they have like a crazy growl and scream. They're pretty terrifying. I think they got their name from Tasmania in Europe, and the European settlers I was reading about when they were first coming across them, they actually thought they were devils or demons of the wilderness because of the weird growls and screams and stuff. And they would actually scare these people as they were settling. They thought that there was demons or devils lurking in the shadows.
Sounds pretty scary.
Yep. Pretty scary. And then the other thing that's kind of cool about them, I was reading, is that they're actually immune to snake venom. So it's like one of their little protections. Even though they're smaller, when they fight against snakes, they don't have to worry. You may or may not have heard of another honorable mention, the honey badger.
Uh-oh.
You've probably seen videos or heard things about them. They're just this crazy little thing. It almost looks like a ferret or something, but they're a little bit bigger and they attack anything from snakes to lions. They have super thick skin and they're small. They're only maybe 5 pounds or something, up to 10 pounds, but they are just crazy, crazy strong. And in fact, in 2007, there was a honey badger that broke into a lion enclosure in South Africa and started attacking the lions. And the lions literally were afraid and ran away. And then it just kind of sauntered off unharmed. So if you haven't seen a honey badger in action, they're wild. You can see them online taking on entire packs of hyenas and all kinds of stuff. It's this crazy little ferocious fighter. And again, it's another thing that's actually immune to snake venom as well. Had you heard about the honey badger before, Zach?
Not in detail like that, but they do sound like aggressive little scrappers, you know?
Oh, yeah. That's them to a T.
Yeah.
In fact, I think there was some NFL football player. I'm blanking on who it was now. His nickname was a honey badger because he was so ferocious. If somebody knows, message us on social and let us know. I forget the name of the guy. And then one more that I'll mention is called the cassowary. Do you know what this is, a cassowary, Zach?
Name sounds familiar.
It's a large, flightless bird. So it's a bird that can't fly. And it has a dagger-like claw in each foot that literally just disembowels predators with just a kick. Think of it as almost like a velociraptor. It has this huge claw hook on its feet, and it just can rip open your insides. And in fact, in 2019, a Florida man, was killed by his pet cassowary after he fell and the bird attacked him with his claws.
Wow.
Isn't that insane? And they can run 31 miles per hour and they can jump nearly 5 feet in the air. So again, they're kind of like the velociraptors of the bird world.
Yeah. That's
Crazy.
Where
animal,
where are those living?
You know, I didn't even look up where they're
Cassowary.
located because they were just an honorable mention. I bet you, I got to guess it's somewhere in Africa. Maybe look it up if you have a second, but no big deal. And then the last two are kind of tied as the last two honorable mentions. So we have the blue-ringed octopus, which is a venomous octopus, can kill an adult human again. And they're known for their like really bright blue rings on them, which kind of is a warning. And then the Africanized honeybee. So those are the ones that are specifically not the Asian ones that we mentioned that are on the top 10 list because they actually are super deadly and they can dissolve your skin, the Asian giant hornet. But the Africanized honeybee is actually in the U.S., and those are the ones that are actually considered the killer bees that people commonly refer to as the killer bees. And those are super crazy because they are in the U.S. and they're known to swarm like no other bees. And there have been some deaths in the U.S. from them swarming. One I looked up in specific happened in Arizona in 2019. So, yeah, the Africanized honeybee is actually the killer bee, not the really scary Asian giant hornet that we maybe just have a few in the U.S. So, I don't know. But chick, drum roll, Zach. We got number one coming up here.
Okay, I'm going to guess.
All right.
All right. I think I only have two guesses. I can't think of a third guess. My first guess, is it Godzilla?
He should have been in the honorable mention. No, I'm not doing mythical creatures here.
Hey, you think what you want to think, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's not number one. Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't say the abominable snowman or Bigfoot.
That's true. Why didn't I say those? Is it the Velociraptor?
No. We're talking about creatures that exist today. I know you think they do too, but Kyle Sands.
Well, you know, people have seen things. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last guess.
Last guess for the number one most vicious creature on planet Earth. Oh boy.
And I never would have guessed this one at the time. I really wouldn't have. But once you hear about it, you're going to be like, oh, it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, wait a second. Is it an alligator?
Ooh, you're close. You're close. So it's actually the saltwater crocodile.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Close to it. It was one of those.
Yeah, so similar to an alligator, but the saltwater crocodile gets way bigger than most crocodiles, way bigger than the Nile crocodile, way bigger than all alligators. It's the largest reptile on Earth. And of course, it's known for its powerful jaws. It's a super aggressive animal. This is one of the crazy things about it. It can reach over 20 feet long. So again, think longer than an Escalade, this saltwater crocodile, and they can weigh over 2,000 pounds. All right. So imagine that thing with those huge jaws, longer than an Escalade, 2,000 pounds coming at you, and they can hold their breath for up to 1 hour. So that's
Damn.
the scary thing. You got something the size of an Escalade swimming around underwater for up to an hour. You may have no idea that it's even in your vicinity, and then it can come out of nowhere and just bite the heck out of you. And they're so fast that there's actually been reported stories of when they're hunting, them launching themselves out of the water, the entire body, 20 feet of their body out of the water to catch or to go after prey. I mean, just the idea of seeing that in real life, that vision is scary enough. But then those huge jaws coming down on you, it's crazy. It's nightmare fuel for sure.
There's a lot of attacks that happen in Florida on like the regular. It's like a normal thing down
Yeah,
there.
but not saltwater crocodiles. Those are like regular crocodiles or alligators. Saltwater crocodiles are mostly in Australia and Africa and stuff, if I remember correctly, mostly Australia.
Right.
But yes, alligators and crocodiles are vicious, so yeah, they can get you. But the other thing that's crazy is they have the strongest bite force of any animal. When they chomp down, these huge saltwater crocodiles can chomp down 5,000 pounds per square inch. So essentially, think about a very large SUV on your face. That's how much 5,000 pounds is.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine just a huge mouth that's probably 3 feet long if it's one of these 20 feet ones, maybe bigger, maybe 4 feet long, chomping down on your face with 5,000 pounds per square inch of pressure. You literally would just crush. It would just completely mutilate your body. Bones, everything, just completely crushed with one chomp.
That's crazy. And that makes me think of the T-Rex, honestly. And
True.
there's probably some lineage between crocodiles and the dinosaurs of old.
That's actually a great
So,
point. And small arm, the
Mhm.
little small front arms,
Yeah.
and the long tail and everything. Dude, that's a really great point. I never thought about that before.
I told you, I'm an expert. You got to believe everything I say.
Well, the archaeologists always say they thought dinosaurs more closely resemble birds, not so much reptiles, but hey, you never know.
There is a lot of research on that birds are actually descendants of dinosaurs and that dinosaurs actually were covered in a feather base rather than sort of more like reptilian skin. There's all kinds of
Right.
research out there. If you
Yeah,
ever
like a
want to go down a
griffin or
rabbit
something.
hole, that's a good one to go down.
Yeah,
I would never
so-
want to mess with a T-Rex. I've seen Jurassic Park. It's not a winning fight.
No, not only can it stomp on your face, but it can eat you in one bite.
Right.
So yeah, that's it. Saltwater crocodile, I gave the number one because across the board, everything I researched, they're the most vicious, they're the strongest, they're the biggest, they're fast, they're in saltwater, they're crazy, and there are recorded attacks and killings of humans. They'll just drag you down to the bottom of the water body and just eat you. So yeah, that's number one. That is number one. Now, let's quickly just recap here, folks, for everyone that may not know. And then I'm going to do this fun little one, Zach. What's the deadliest thing for humans on Earth? The deadliest living thing that can take humans over? We'll get to that after I just recap the top 10. We'll see if maybe you can guess it. But what kills the most humans every year? And it's not in our top 10, actually. I will start from the top. Number 10, the gorilla. Number 9, the polar bear. Number 8, the Komodo dragon. Number 7, the Asian giant hornet. Number 6, the hippopotamus. Number 5, the great white shark. Number 4, the black mamba. Number 3, African lion. Number 2, the box jellyfish. And topping out the top 10 of most vicious creatures on Earth, number 1, the saltwater crocodile. So any guesses on what takes the most human lives every year, Zach?
And it's an animal.
Let's just say it'll get you.
All right. So it's not an animal.
Probably not considered really an animal, yeah. It's definitely not an animal, I'll put it that way.
So,
But also people could say jellyfishes aren't an animal. I don't know. But
This may not be related. I was gonna say obesity. You said the number one thing that kills most people every year?
Well, no, so creature. So this is the top.
Creature.
This is a top 10 creature thing.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay,
I was
so
going to say, what do you think is the number one creature that kills the most humans every year?
the number one creature that kills most humans every year. Oof. I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
It's actually the mosquito.
Ooh, you little bastard.
Yep. Mosquitoes are responsible for more deaths than any other creature on Earth every year. They spread diseases like malaria and dengue fever, I think is how it's pronounced. But yeah, they take a lot of lives. You don't hear about it really in the US, but in other countries it happens. So
Yeah, I remember for a long time, actually, here in New York, probably all the United States, for a while you had to worry about mosquitoes because of the West Nile virus.
right,
And
right, exactly.
I think it was more when I was younger, maybe early 2000s. They were like, be careful of mosquitoes. And you know that if there was a mosquito around, you want to try and kill it. You don't want it to bite you. So I remember there was a number of years where if I saw a mosquito, I tried to move quickly. I just wanted to get away from it. But yeah, you're right, because they carry a lot of disease. They spread it. Those bastards.
Luckily, we
Yeah.
have a vaccine for malaria now, but the biggest reason why there's still so many deaths is because there's a lot of parts of the world that unfortunately don't have as much access to the
Right.
vaccine.
It's more like the third world countries or areas that don't really have infrastructure in place.
Exactly. Well, hey, that was fun, Zach. Thanks for humoring me with my little research and fun journey down most dangerous creatures on Earth. Appreciate that.
Happy to be here. Joe has an interesting interest in the dangerous animals of planet Earth.
Yes, it was fun. And actually, I'll leave you with one more little factoid that I found out when I was researching these different things, which is pretty cool. It's that there's some species of jellyfish, Zach, and you'll like this as a superhero comic book fan guy, whatever, and sci-fi. There's actually some species of jellyfish that, no joke, are immortal.
So then we need the scientists to start picking apart their DNA and figuring out how to transmute that immortality to humankind. It's probably happening already behind closed doors. No one
It
knows
probably
about.
is. It probably is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when I was researching it, they can actually transform their bodies into a younger state through a process that they call transdifferentiation. I didn't get into the crux. I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah, there's some species of jellyfish that are immortal by transforming their bodies into a younger state. So they're just constantly getting younger. Imagine if we could be like, maybe imagine if when we turn 60, we're like, yeah, I'm going to transform until I'm 30 and just kept
Well, I'll
doing
tell you
that.
what, just piggybacking on our last episode, intermittent fasting might hold some of the clues to how human beings can do that.
Who knows? Maybe these
It's very
jellyfish
possible.
just don't eat for a week and all of a sudden they're 10 years younger.
So the jellyfish are doing lots of extended fasting. That's got to be it.
Wait a second, Zach. Are you onto something? Are you personally, through your fasting, practicing transdifferentiation?
I'm going to have to say no comment, and I'm going to have to scrub my place and run because now I know they're listening, Joe. They're listening. They're on to us. Listen,
Yes.
Get rid of your phone. Turn it off. Get the battery off your cell phone and get off the grid.
Yes,
This has
forget
been
about
another episode. This might have been
following
the
the
last
Holy
episode.
Grail. Zach has found it in his jellyfish research of transdifferentiation.
I've done no such thing. I'm an actor. I'm just making stuff up. It's not real. What's fasting? What's jellyfish? Don't listen to me. Joe, run. Get out of there.
They will come for you. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of the Joe and Zack podcast. We really appreciate it. Tune in next week for another fun episode coming right at you. Take care. Nice one, Zach. I thought maybe you were going to finish up with a little Arnold quote.
I could say something. You could still add it in, right?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you everybody for listening to, yes, another episode of the Joe and Zack podcast. My friend and now consultant, Arnold Schwarzenegger, has something he would like to say. Okay, Arnold, go ahead. The microphone is yours. Yes, listen, Mr. Zackinator, you got to be careful out there if they know you're looking for the immortality. they're gonna come after you, and I can't help you. So I'm not the governor anymore. So you better run. And if you get the secret, you better use it on yourself before they come and they kill you, because they're gonna kill you. Take it from the Terminator. Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much, Arnold. I really appreciate your input. And I agree. This might be the last ever episode of the Joe and Zack pod, because I might have to go on the lam now and go live in Australia with the box jellyfish and use them as weapons, so that when anybody comes for me. Oh, we were wrapping up and saying goodbye, right? I should. Okay. Thanks everybody for listening. It's been great. Thank you. Okay. How's that?
I mean, I'd have to say it's exactly what I was looking for.
Well, there you go. I just Zackinated.